Indiana County Playwrights and directed and performed by local people in the community here.
Wow, wow. Now, are any of you in more than one production?
Well, I guess Dave here is directing 2 different ones.
Dave is directing 2.
And I wrote one, and I'm directing 2 other ones. So, and then Bill here wrote one and is directing another one. Is that right? So we're all involved in a couple different ways here.
I just wrote one.
It's Shauna just wrote one.
It's a long one, though. It's the longest one.
Don't say just wrote one there, Shauna. It's a pretty important thing. So, Sam, let's start with you.
Sure.
Well, first of all, let's get the whens and the wheres.
Okay, yeah. So it opens a week from today at the Indiana Playhouse at 725 Philadelphia Street. It's 7:30 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then it'll be 2:30 on the Sunday show.
All right.
Yeah, and there are 6 plays. I'm directing one called Pocatello that Shauna Craig wrote here, and another one called Gairlock, and then I also wrote one that's called Jennifer. And I would say that all the plays, they kind of have in common, they're about people trying their best. They're about human beings, and they have their flaws, but they're trying to make it as best they can. They're all kind of funny in their way, but I think people will see, something of their own lives, hopefully reflected in some of the stories that we tell.
All right. Shauna, you come up to that microphone there. Sam, you stay up here because you're directing Pocatello.
I am, and Shauna Craig was actually one of my creative writing professors at IUP many years ago in poetry and also research writing. And so we've connected. She auditioned for a show last year and has acted in a couple things and told me she had a 1-act play she had written. So we talked about it and decided to put it up.
Mm-hmm. Shauna, tell me about writing this play.
It is the first, I'm a fiction writer by trade, and it's the first play I've written since I was an undergraduate in college a long time ago. And it was because I got involved in the acting and the shows, and I thought, I've had this idea, this thing that I had always thought was more of a 1-act than a short story. Mm-hmm. And so I had been writing it, and I mentioned it to Sam, and he's like, we have a 1-act play festival in the spring. And I was, wow. So I have actually gotten to see what was in my head kind of coming to life on the stage week by week.
Is it? I'm assuming it's based in Idaho.
It's not actually based in Idaho, but it's got some Idaho in it. It's 2 friends, old friends from high school, who come together in New York City for a birthday bash, the 2 of them, and kind of come to recognize the ways that they have been hiding things from each other, but also just that connection that they still have.
Mm-hmm. So you've been watching this rehearsal process, or maybe you haven't. I don't know. Maybe
I have.
You have. Yeah. You have. Watching what Sam is doing with this. Yeah. Is it a pretty exciting thing to watch it come together?
It's a really exciting thing. I've been very hands-off, just watching the way he interprets something, reinterprets it, that an actor does something that I wouldn't have thought, but I love the idea that this play is very specific to these players, this director, and this moment. And it's like I've been to maybe every other rehearsal, and leaps and bounds, changes, and it just comes to life on the stage. It's really neat.
Sam, somebody might say, oh gosh, the playwright's right here looking over my shoulder. That's kind of intimidating. It doesn't seem like Shauna's all that intimidating.
Not anymore, and because I have that connection she was a mentor of mine, as was Dave Tavish, too, and we'll get to that. So that's just really thrilling for me. Some of the people involved in the play are students I had when I was teaching at IUP, so it's like the people who mentored me and the people I'm mentoring all coming together, and it's really a lot of fun for that, I really like it.
So that's one thing that you're involved in.
Yeah.
But you're involved in 2 others.
One of them is a play that I wrote. It's called Jennifer, that Dave Tavish here directed. And it's sort of a scenario between an uncle and a nephew. And I don't want to give too much away, but the uncle has met a woman online that he's romantically involved with, but maybe there's reason to believe that she is not who she says she is. Mm-hmm. So it's funny, but I think it's also a little bit sad. But also, hopefully, it's that kind of laughter where you feel something when you're laughing. That's what I was kind of going for. And and Dave was taught me English in high school, or we worked on the forensics team together years ago, and I had this play, and I didn't know who to give it to, who I could trust it with, but I knew I could trust Dave.
Yeah. So Dave, you take this role. I'm assuming you're the uncle?
Oh, no, I'm the director.
Oh, you're I'm sorry.
I could be the
you're
uncle,
the director.
Maybe in a future production, but in this one,
So you're the director of this.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about it and what the process has been like for you.
Well, it's actually been really kind of exciting because I'm working with 2 terrific people who have had a lot of experience, and my sort of what I would do with it or how I would set it up and how Sam visualizes it are somewhat contrasting, and then the actors bring what they have to it. And so it's been a process really of think and change and try and do and find what works in the moment for that particular play.
Yeah. It sounds to me like it really is what an organization such as Indiana Players is all about.
No, I think all theater, and especially you asked before about if the playwright's in the room. When the playwright's in the room, there's always give and take in plays, with a new play especially.
Yeah. So as this one has unfolded, sometimes a director might go into a play thinking, okay, this is what I think this is going to end up looking like. Does it look like what you thought going in?
Psychologically, emotionally, physically, no.
No?
No. But
Well, the big thing that we go back and forth on is it's a conversation of two people sitting there, and Dave, being a theater director, wants to get him up and have him be dynamic and move around the space. And I'm, as a playwright, I'm like, I think they would just sit, Dave. And that just goes to our, we were trained differently, came up in different eras, have a different approach, but we also have a really good personal relationship, so we can get somewhat contentious artistically and still, get a beer afterwards. It's all good.
It's a lot of fun. So, Dave, this is the only one you're involved in?
no,
Or you're involved in another?
I'm also doing a play called Carving Rocks. When you talk about relationships, Sam said I was his forensics coach and Shakespeare coach in high school, and I'm right. The other play, Carving Rocks, is by Ed Simpson, who I've worked with for 25 years in the theater department and in the theater program at IUP. So Ed and I have been working together. I'm working on his play, talking by phone. He's in North Carolina. Sam is right here. Sam also has a connection to Ed. And then if you add Bill Martinick, back in the late 80s was the first time I acted with Bill at IUP. So it's sort of all around. And Carving Rocks, which Ed wrote, is this play about carving rocks out of wood, and I like to think of it as a craftsman and a loan officer from a bank, but I like to think of it as an artist and an art critic philosophically going back and forth, because there's this concept of what is art about, but it's done in a very, very funny, and if you know Ed, and some of you out there do, in a very clever kind of linguistic way.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds fascinating. And it also sounds like you can't tell a player's without a scorecard, as they say.
Absolutely. when I'm around you, I never can.
Well, let's get Bill up here this morning and visit with him tonight as well. Bill,
Morning.
How many plays are you involved in with this?
Well, 2.
Because my head's spinning around as we go.
Welcome to my world. I'm directing one, and I wrote another.
Okay, let's start with the one that you're directing.
It's called Abraham and Isaac. It's based on the story in Genesis of Abraham, Isaac, and Sarah. Written by an IUP professor, a local guy, Michael Schwartz. Good guy, good friend of mine. It was a bit coincidental because I'd recently written an essay on the Abraham and Isaac situation. For reasons I don't quite understand, I somehow found myself in possession of the family Bible. And going through it, finding pressed flowers and all kind of clippings, and I just started reading it, bits and pieces of it. And the Abraham and Isaac story fascinated me. And then I got this script, and it was great. So we've had a great time. There's only 4 characters, but it's a lot of fun. They've been terrific. It's my first directing gig at Indiana Players, and it's just great to be back home.
Yeah. The same question that I asked Dave. Is it what you envisioned it would be when you had it pictured in your mind before the whole process started?
Oddly enough, yeah, it's pretty close. As everyone else has mentioned, the actors come in and they bring something, which is wonderful. I'm the kind of director that encourages involvement. I'm not a dictatorial director. I don't believe I have all the answers. And it's a team effort, and the people have been great. It's just a lot of fun. Last night, the last note I gave at rehearsal was, guys, I hate to tell you this, but I think we have a show. Looks great.
It might have surprised them all.
I'm always surprised when anything I'm involved in turns out right. So,
tell me about the play you wrote.
It's called Game Fish. It's based on a quote by John Trotwood Moore, which is, "Only the game fish swims upstream." I'm not sure what that means. I just liked it, and I kind of wrote this I don't know. It's very conversational. 3 people just talking, exploring things like, relationships. What are we doing here? Why are we doing these things? I don't know. I trust Eric, the director, to do a much better job of directing than I did of writing.
So it's 3 people in the cast, and are they all of the same age? What's the dynamic between them?
In the script, there really isn't any. My goal was to write the generic play. It can be played by any actors in any setting at any time. The way that Eric has cast it, they seem to be 3 people about the same age, or clearly friends, or there's some relationship between them. But I don't know. My writing is so weird and so nebulous. I'm not really. See, I have a problem with this thing called plot. So I just kind of write dialogue. That's pretty much it.
See, when I read it, I thought it was, there's a theme of like a person who's isolating and their friends coming to connect with them, which I related to from my own life. I thought there's like a human story that I see in it that's quite moving and also funny. But maybe some of that is what I'm bringing to it. But I think some of it's in there too.
I think that's the whole point, though, of what Bill's talking about. When you come up with this concept, it really is open to the interpretation of the performers and the director.
Right, that's it. And I've as I said earlier, I've been totally hands off. I gave the script to Eric and said, "I'm done. I wrote it. That's the end of my job. It's all the way. I have no idea what he's doing with it, and I can't wait to see it."
What a great approach! What a great approach! All right, so this is coming up again.
Yeah, a week from tonight we open. So Thursday, I think it's the 24th, 7:30 p.m. at the 725 Philadelphia Street at the Philadelphia Street Playhouse. Yes,
It's just one night? Or?
4 nights. So
4
Thursday,
nights.
Friday, Saturday night at 7:30, and then we have our closing Sunday matinee on April the 27th there at 2:30.
Tickets available ahead of time or at the door?
You can get tickets at indianaplayers.com, or you can just come right to the door. They're $15 or $10 for members.
All right. Hey, thanks all for coming to visit with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so
It
much.
is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. It's just about 2 minutes away from the top of the hour. Fox News comes your way then, and then it's a visit from the WCCS newsroom with Josh Widdison. It's Indiana in the Morning. It's WCCS on a Thursday.